Good afternoon, everyone. How are y'all feeling? Feeling good? Yeah? Who'd have thought on a Thursday that we could get the whole city to turn out? I wonder who's retiring today. No, that's not why we showed up? Of course not. Of course not. We've showed up for a momentous occasion because we recognize that not just in this city, but in this region, in this state, in this great country that we call home, there's the opportunity to do big things. And dear friends, have we done big things? I'm excited because for the past year and a half, we've been strategizing, we've been planning, we've been meeting, we've been coming together, we've been recruiting, we've been marketing, we've been fundraising, amen somebody? And we've been doing everything we need to do to culminate in this moment. And I couldn't be more excited. I also couldn't be more nervous, and I want to tell you why. Before I came on stage, they give you this rundown list of all the things you cannot say. So they who shall not be named will not be said. And I'm going to stick to the script and make it feel really, really good. So my name is Cyril Jefferson, and I have the privilege of serving on High Point City Council. I also have the privilege of serving on the great board of directors for NC Pro Soccer. And when we began the conversations of how we wanted today to go, this is exactly what we pictured. And so far, we're already on a good track. As we get through the rest of this program, you're going to learn some things, but hopefully you're going to be inspired to know that what we are doing, bringing soccer to our downtown, is an incredible thing. I was in a barbershop the other day. All good stories start with a barbershop. Keep that in mind. I was in a barbershop the other day, and I was talking to the folks there. And they said, I hear about this soccer team coming to downtown. What kind of soccer team will it be? And I said, well, dear friends, if I told you that we would have one of the world's greatest soccer players in helm, that we bring a crew all the way down from New York City, that we catalyze and raise millions of dollars to do it, what kind of effort do you think it would be? And they said, oh, so it's not the YMCA soccer team. And I said, no, it's not. It's not. I'm on the board there, and YMCA is great. My kids just finished their season there, but it's not YMCA soccer. Dear friends, it is MLS NEXT Pro. And we are thrilled to have with us personnel and leadership from MLS NEXT Pro. So after this video that we're about to see, you will hear from the president of MLS NEXT Pro, Charles Altchek, who, as I understand, you all traveled quite a ways to get here. You did not sleep through the night. I think you wore that outfit yesterday. Some parts of it, yeah. Wait, that was a part of what I wasn't supposed to say. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm so sorry. I always forget these things. Yeah. Will you all please turn your attention to the screens, and after that, you'll welcome Charles Altchek to the stage. Thank you.
doesn't like a good hype video? Thank you, Cyril, for the kind words, and thank you all for coming today. It's a special day, and it's been a special week. We were in Huntsville, Alabama yesterday to announce our new team there, Huntsville City FC, and now we're back in High Point. So before I get started, I want to thank a few people. Mayor Jay Wagner, it's great to be back. You and your city council have been instrumental in making today possible, so thank you. I'll recognize you during the speech, but now that I'm seeing you again, it's great to be back. I want to thank everybody else who's here in person and all of you watching online today. It's great to be back in the Triad. It's a historic day for the region and for MLS NEXT Pro. The timing is perfect. As you saw from the video, we just finished our inaugural season in style and crowned our first champion, Columbus Crew 2. The 2022 season over-delivered on every level. And as we like to remind ourselves, we're just getting started. Which brings us to today. When we set the course for MLS NEXT Pro, growing the sport of soccer is core to our mission and vision. For the league to succeed, we knew that we needed strong, independent teams with great venues for their fans and players. Our first, in Rochester, New York, had a tremendous first season and qualified for the playoffs. But today is about the Triad. MLS NEXT Pro has 4 pillars: player development and creating the pathway for the next generation of stars, local communities and ensuring that our clubs are connected and contributing in every way, innovation and using this platform to continue to push the sport of soccer forward, and a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and creating opportunities for all of those who want to work in and around the game. From our first meeting with Megan Oglesby and Mayor Jay Wagner, it was clear to us that we were aligned at all levels. Every project starts with a leader who has the vision and fortitude to take an idea and make it a reality. Megan is that leader. Megan, her family, her partners, and their leadership team have been relentless in championing the game and working with Mayor Wagner, the City Council, and his staff to make this day possible. I want to thank the Mayor, the City Council, and all of you involved here in High Point for embracing the sport of soccer. With the planned upgrades, Truist Point Stadium will be rocking on game days and the perfect gathering place for fans from all over the region to come together and celebrate this beautiful sport. No matter where you come from or what language you speak, soccer is the universal language that brings folks together on and off the field. And speaking of the field, many of you here today grew up playing the sport, but none have accomplished more than Eddie Pope. Hall of Famer, 4-time MLS Best 11, 3-time MLS Cup champion, and he played in 3 World Cups for the U.S. men's national team. And with the World Cup right around the corner, it is fitting then that High Point's own, a UNC alum, Eddie Pope, is coming home. I want to clap for that. Eddie's coming home to lead the next generation of players, coaches, and staff as they work towards their dreams of one day competing at the highest level. Speaking of elite soccer players, I would also like to acknowledge my friend Darius Barnes, former Duke and MLS star, and now the president of Charlotte FC's MLS NEXT Pro team, which will launch in 2023. Darius, thank you for coming today. We're all looking forward to many great games between these 2 clubs in the years ahead. For the fans, you have much to look forward to. The name today, the brand, the colors, coaches, players, and all of the excitement that will build as we get closer to the spring of 2024. But today is when it all starts. You're part of history here today, and I'm grateful to be able to share this moment with you. And with that, I'd like to officially welcome Megan, Eddie, their team, and all of you and your fans to MLS NEXT Pro. Congratulations.
Well, how exciting is that? Charles, you said the stadium would be rocking. I have a responsibility to say I think that is the copyright of our Rockers baseball stadium. It can only rock when the Rockers play. We've got to do something else. We'll figure that part out, though. I am thrilled. You said what?
I learn something new every day.
Something new every day. Right. Me too. Me too. That's my wife. Me too. I'm thrilled because we're honored to have such distinguished guests with us, and he mentioned Mayor Jay Wagner, but we also have several other city council members who are with us, Councilman Wesley Hudson, Councilman Britt Moore. I think I saw Councilman Vic Jones somewhere in the room. Vic, I saw you, okay. I see your arm, Vic. Any other council members in the room? I also saw our esteemed Vice Chair of the Board of Commissioners, Mrs. Carvina Foster, here with us, who we know has been an incredible advocate. When the county gave us $7 million recently to ensure that we could be even more successful with the stadium, Carvina, we thank you for that. Are there any other elected officials in the room who I should be recognizing? Okay, good. Y'all, we're gonna keep going with the program, and I'm excited because the next person I get to bring up is not just a distinguished guest or an esteemed colleague, it is one of my nearest and dearest friends. I can recall back in 2017, 2018, it was a time where this city was beginning to revitalize. And at the time, the city was making a bigger commitment to ensuring that young professionals could have a place here, that they could recruit and retain them, and that young professionals would feel that this is a part of their city as well. Well, in some of those conversations, groups of us would get together, and that's where I met my dear friend Megan Oglesby. And we would have really good conversations about where this city's headed. And we always dreamed about the opportunities. So when it was presented to us that a soccer team could come and we needed a champion who could bring that forward, I was thrilled that my dear friend Megan could step up. I was going to say step up to the plate, but I don't know a lot of metaphors outside of baseball. Could step up to the pitch.
Penalty spot.
Could step up to the penalty spot. That doesn't roll off the tongue, though, Charles. Okay.
We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out.
Megan stepped up, y'all. And with that, I'm excited to welcome to the stage our managing director, our chair of our board, and the owner of NC Pro Soccer, Mrs. Megan Oglesby.
Everybody, wow, it is a great day for soccer, and it is an honor to lead the effort to bring pro soccer to our region. But you know, they've said my name over and over, but I've only played a very small part in making today happen, and I want to make sure that I say thank you to each person who has given their time and their expertise to bringing pro soccer to the Triad. So special thanks to Charles Alchek and his outstanding staff with MLS NEXT Pro, Mayor Jay Wagner and all of the High Point City Council representatives, we appreciate you deeply. To City Manager Tasha Logan-Ford, I saw you. Thank you for your leadership and your staff as well. The High Point Downtown Stadium Foundation, without you, today would not be possible. Thank you very much. So Cyril said I'm the owner. I'm one of many owners of the NC Pro Soccer, and we have an exceptional group of investors and board members. They are some of the best people I've had the privilege to work with, and so I want to say special thanks to my fellow investors. My business partners, Matt and Mark Penley, thank you for entrusting me in leading this group. Leah and Chase Hazelwood, thank you so much. Mike Crin and David Bennett and your group at Benchmade Ventures. Alex Moore and Ryan Burkett, you guys are rock stars. Thank you guys. Pablo Webster couldn't be with us today. He and his wife Melissa are wonderful investors, and several others that aren't with us today. We also have a couple of board members. Cyril Jefferson is one. Rachel Collins, thank you for your leadership, and Brian Anderson for your expertise. And then a special thanks for everything that has come to today as far as the world of soccer. Our rockstar executive leadership staff, and Andy Smith, our president, thank you. Evan Mitz, our COO. Brian Gavigan, you've got a really long title, I'm not gonna say what it is, but he does all the attorney stuff. Eddie, we love him for that. Eddie Pope, you'll get to hear from him, which everybody's excited about. Chris Beretta, we're thrilled to have you join our team. And Alan Isaac, thank you for everything you've done to make today possible. So that's just a small group that I've had the privilege to work with. But So over the course of this past year and a half of bringing pro soccer to the Triad, I've been asked many times why. Why am I wanting to lead these efforts? And there's many reasons. One being that I played soccer as a kid. I wasn't very good. No Eddie Pope, no Mia Hamm, but it has shaped the person I am today. There are three things that have made me who I am today: is soccer, Girl Scouts, and family. So soccer, I love the game, but above all, I love community. And so this is not just about bringing pro soccer to the Carolina core. It's about creating access to opportunities for all. This is about people development and economic development. So this is about growing our people and our community through the beautiful game. Thank you.
Megan, thank you so much for that. And so whenever you endeavor to do big things, I'm often reminded of a quote from one of my favorite mentors, and I've got a room full of mentors, so I got to put that caveat out there. But one of my favorite mentors is Dr. Cubain, and he often says, if you're going to do great things, you got to walk hand in hand with great people. So Dr. Cubain, as we set out to do this endeavor to make the soccer team come to fruition, we knew we needed someone at the helm who could really walk hand in hand with. And so we searched far and wide. We overturned every single rock that we could. There was no door that we left closed that we did not open to find someone who could be the president and CEO of North Carolina Pro Soccer. And I'm excited because I've seen this guy in karaoke. Friends, he is not afraid. He is bold, he is confident, and he is, dare I say, unique. Will you please give it up for Mr. Andy Smith?
Thank you, Cyril. I think everyone should have a hype man, and you might be mine. I appreciate that. Today is a special day for our organization, so thank you all for coming out. Shortly, I have the honor of introducing a video that will culminate with the team name. But first, I'd like to recognize and personally thank, on behalf of the club, a number of people and organization for their continued support. Bear with me, it's quite extensive. Thank you to Congdon Yards and Business High Point for hosting us today and tonight. Our marketing partners at Stratagon for their tireless efforts getting us ready for the launch in the weeks and months that come. Our video production team at Go Forth Marketing for the incredible videos you're about to see, as well as their work organizing today and tonight's event. We appreciate the continued support from our friends in the soccer community. So thank you to Kathy Robinson, NCYSA, Scott Woolston, NC Fusion, David Upchurch with PTFC, Manny Pareda with Winston-Salem Football Sala, Casey Charlton with North Carolina Rush Triad, Andy Thompson, Carolina Velocity, Zach Haynes at the High Point University, Chris Rich at UNCG, and Dane Brenner at Wake Forest. I'd also like to thank our incredible ownership group for believing in this project, with special recognition to our lead investors, Megan Oglesby and Mark and Matt Penley. It has been an absolute honor to work with you guys. And finally, a huge thank you to our team for the hard work and dedication it took to get us to this point, led by Evan Mitz, Eddie Pope, Alan Ezich, and Ramsey Cottle, and especially Brian Gavigan, who was the visionary behind all of this. We would not be here today if it wasn't for him, so thank you, Brian. Okay, so before we reveal the name, a little background on it. Our goal was to bring the Central Carolina region together through the sport of soccer, an area that extends towards the outer edges of Charlotte and Raleigh and expands beyond the Triad. It includes major companies such as Boom Supersonic, Toyota, Honda Jet, and Old Dominion Freight Line, a name that speaks to our fan base and is a fresh take on how the region is regarded both locally and nationally. So without further ado, enjoy the video.
The core of North Carolina lives and breathes soccer.
I have played club here, played college here, coached college here. I'm still coaching.
I lived here my whole life. Growing up in a Mexican household, that's all we watched. This is what we love.
I'm from Denmark, but I'm here in North Carolina because of soccer. I love soccer. I love being here.
I'm in a fan group for a local college team. They've become part of my family.
Coming to play soccer here has given me so many more opportunities that I thought I'd never have.
Soccer's amazing because it brings people together that don't know they're connected. And now they're rubbing shoulders, high-fiving, screaming, chanting, everything you can imagine. And it's together. We're all so much closer than we realize. And we share such a passion for sport.
Let's go! Come on!
I want to see the last-minute winners, the crazy blowouts, the highs, the lows, the intensity, the passion. I want it all. Soccer isn't new to this area, but Soccer Together is. Introducing Carolina Core FC, a new MLS NEXT Pro team in the heart of North Carolina. Soccer Together.
All right, there it is, everyone. Carolina Core FC. We truly hope everyone loves the name as much as we do. We see it not only as the club's name, but a way to continue the incredible momentum in the region. Just a quick note, our official logo and colors will be released in 2023. As you can see, in the meantime, we're using MLS NEXT Pro style and colors for our temporary logo. Lastly, I wanted to expand on one of Megan's comments that is driving our organization. Our goal is to deliver an authentic experience for our players and fans and bring the MLS game day atmosphere to the Carolina Core. We joined MLS NEXT Pro because we believe in the model of player development. But as an independent club, we're also here to win games for our fans. And we plan to do both. So thank you all for coming out today, and we look forward to seeing you at Truist Point in 2024. Thank you.
Whenever you do big announcements like that, the key is to look around the room to see everyone's faces, to see all the people who made submissions and wondering if their submission got it. There was a lot of excitement, so all of your submissions clearly made it. And so I'm excited about that name, and I'm excited about where we're headed. Y'all, the next person who I get to introduce and get to call up is one who, I mean, if you just Google him, you get why it's a big deal to have him involved in this effort. And when I went up to him, I said, Eddie, you know, I'm going to do your introduction. What would you have me say? Would you want me to talk about the title games? Would you want me to talk about the World Cup? Would you want me to talk about the flu game you had, which Michael Jordan's flu game has nothing on his flu game, y'all? He said, no, Cyril, I just want you to talk about the fact that I'm from High Point, I love High Point, and that's the reason why I'm here. And that is a big deal, friends. My first time meeting Eddie, I said, hey, Eddie, it's a pleasure to meet you. By the way, I got to tell you what my wife said. And Eddie said, uh-oh. I don't know why Eddie said uh-oh, but let me tell you what I told Eddie. I said, Eddie, I was telling my wife last night that I was going to meet you today because we were going to have this conversation about soccer. And she said, you mean Eddie Pope? I said, yeah, Eddie Pope. She said, the Eddie Pope? I said, I don't know if there's the Eddie Pope, the many Eddie Popes. I only know of one Eddie Pope, and I'm meeting him tomorrow. And she tells me this incredible story of being with Boys and Girls Club here in High Point, and that when they had their soccer games, Eddie had a league with the Boys and Girls Club for all their soccer games. And you probably had dozens, if not more than 100 youth involved in that. And one year, that soccer group got to go to New York City to watch. I think at the time you were playing for DC United, and you played the New York City team up there. And the time that they had being exposed there, what that does for young people, y'all, I was just in a meeting earlier today talking about how if you want to truly transform someone's life, they can only be what they can see. And so when you expose folks to new things and you take them to new levels and new heights, you allow them to become so much more than what they are. And so I'm excited because Eddie, I would love to think, sorry, Eddie, you're on this side. Eddie, I would love to think that she'd be who she was regardless, but I do know that the seeds you sowed in who Raven is quite the reason why she's the lady that she is. As Dr. Cuban always reminds me, I married above my class, and so clearly she raised my profile by that many points. So, Eddie, I have to thank you for a lot of this. Will y'all please welcome Eddie to the stage?
What Cyril isn't saying is that I thought he was talking about his daughter, so that made me feel really old. want to shift gears just a little bit and just kind of talk a little bit about the youth side of this. And sometimes that can be forgotten. And also just about the state of North Carolina and how, as the video said, we're not new to this. So there's been soccer in the state of North Carolina for nearly 50 years. And most people don't know that. Over this time period, soccer in this specific region has been the catalyst for a tremendous amount of success. It's produced a vast number of collegiate players, NCAA collegiate champions, Olympians, United States men's national team and World Cup members, a number of Major League Soccer players, Major League Soccer champions, Open Cup champions, players who currently play abroad, whether in the Italian Serie A or in the English Premier League. And I'll stop for a second because, as you mentioned, Darius Barnes, who's here, MLS player, Duke grad, Ali Curtis here in the front row, amazing MLS career, Duke grad. Apologies for all my other Tar Heel alumni for even saying that four-letter word. But, and then we've also had a lot of coaches who've experienced success on so many different levels. As you can see, the region has a rich soccer history and tradition of success. With the addition of yet another MLS NEXT Pro club and professional player pathway, it's hard to imagine exactly how bright the future can be for a kid who walks into Truist Point Stadium for the first time, watches a game, and says, I want to be a professional soccer player one day. I can truly say that I'm honored, along with my colleagues, in helping that kid's dreams come true. Thank you so much, and like everyone else on our staff, I can't wait to get started.
All right, y'all. We're getting close to the end of this thing, and we thought it was important for folks to understand the why behind why this effort came to be. And so we've got a pretty short video that's going to talk about that. It's just a few minutes long, and after that video, we're going to have our closing remarks, some media and press things, and some business updates that we're going to give. Please turn your attentions to the screen.
It was fall of 2021. Brian Gavigan asked me to participate in a luncheon he was having about sort of an economic development project, and I quickly realized that there was some real efforts to bring pro soccer to the Triad. Soccer has been a big part of my life, but I didn't really realize it until reflecting on it recently. We did a family trip years ago. I think we were all still in college, and we went to Kenya. So we challenged the local villagers to a soccer match, and it was just on like a dirt field. And what other sport can you think of in the world where you can go halfway across the world, pick up a game, not speak a word to each other, and love it?
People may be surprised to know that, I come from a relatively small town, High Point, North Carolina. I think like for myself, when I was growing up, kicking against my house and breaking windows, and then, a long time later, speaking to like Jurgen Klinsmann and what he was doing at my age, and he was kicking off the wall of his dad's bakery. Same thing, but just in two completely different parts of the world, and then we meet in '98 in our first World Cup game.
When you talk about having something in our region that can attract all types of people, soccer becomes that very thing. It's a thing that unites crowds and populations all cheering for the same thing. And when we can unite, then we can do so much more together.
People don't realize that North Carolina has a super rich soccer history. Also, having grown up playing soccer here, we were a part of that grassroots era that was sweeping the nation, and it certainly caught on in North Carolina.
The Triad is ready for pro soccer. We want it. It is a hotbed. We've got the skills, we've got the talent, we've got the player pathway, and now we're completing it with MLS NEXT Pro. We're ready for it.
There's a melting pot of people in the Triad that are really ready to support this. Not just High Point, Winston, Greensboro, a team for the Triad, and all the local communities in between.
When you think of Triad, you think of Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point, but really just over half of the residents of the Triad live in those three cities, which means that there are so many communities that are represented.
Kids can have local heroes. It'd be great to have a local club where my boy has a local top, and he's walking around with that top on, creating that brand and supporting that team.
If there was that local franchise when I was growing up, Oh, I would have loved it. It would have really been the kickstart for maybe some better things. And not just for me, but for my teammates, my peers.
Being able to have that is just such a huge advantage because you have people kind of paving the way for you or saying to you, this is the pathway to the pros. Whereas we just didn't have that.
The more high-level soccer you can have in front of kids growing up, they're going to be able to learn, they're going to be able to model their behaviors, they're going to be able to emulate what they're seeing, and it's just going to make them more passionate about the game.
You see those players playing every weekend, you had posters of them up on your wall, you'd want to be that player, you'd mimic that player on the field on a weekend.
Some kids will start watching and then someday be on the field playing. The hometown heroes, the homegrown players.
There were going to be people that grew up and played soccer in the Triad who are going to get paid to play soccer for a living because of this team.
We want to reach and touch everybody, and we want to give everybody the opportunity to become a professional player.
I would love for us to do just as much off-field support and development as we do on the field. For me, this opportunity is really about what are the opportunities that can be brought through the vehicle of soccer.
That's a different commitment than what the other sports teams have taken on. It's not about making money. It's about developing the community and helping the people here.
People are aware that a professional sports team is coming to this region. That means people are now more aware of what they can do in this region, and it just attracts even more opportunity for all of us here.
We're going to revitalize downtown High Point. We're going to be having an opportunity for the community to come together on another stage.
But everything's going to lead with fan experience. Yeah, you track numbers, but we're not leading with numbers. That's not inspirational. So every decision's being made with how does this impact the fan experience?
If you've been to any of the MLS games, you can tell that North Carolina has a really raucous soccer culture. And we have an opportunity here in the Triad to build something local, easy to get to.
It's amazing how soccer impacts to a lot of people. You see, in every corner, Latinos, adults, or youth, they playing, every day. You go to a park, hey, they're playing over there. So it's huge for the Triad. If a team comes, a professional team, being so close to them, it will be a great impact.
Having a team locally that, quite frankly, from anywhere in the Triad, you can get there in about 30 minutes or less with your family is very attractive.
The Triad is crying out for this type of opportunity, this type of pull for families and for kids. I mean, you're bringing together people from all different cultures, backgrounds, demographics, and it's to enjoy an experience. It's to share an experience.
Well, la pasión de los hispanos, para nosotros la llevamos en la sangre, en el alma. Okay, es algo grande, es increíble cuánta es la multitud que ama el soccer. Como le decimos nosotros, el verdadero fútbol.
My hope is that through this MLS NEXT Pro team and club that we show the nation and the world that the Triad is a phenomenal place for soccer, that we have talents and skills and we have young people that have the potential to make it all the way to the big leagues, that we are going to help untap that potential.
As someone that grew up here, that would be as cool as it gets, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I speak pretty passionate about it because just to see the growth, the evolution, the hard work that's many people have put forward, it would mean everything.
It's super exciting for me to be able to come back home. Having started here comes full circle, really with no professional soccer, to watch it culminate in what it's become, that's the dream for me.
So y'all, as I said, we are almost on our way out of here, but before we go, I have to give some closing remarks and some business updates. But before I give the business updates, I was instructed to take y'all to church. And I said, well, I don't know if I'm gonna take them to church. I might just leave that to Reverend Frank Thomas. What I may just do, though, is talk about how important this is for our region. Because when we talk about economic impact and when we talk about engaging communities, sometimes on paper, that's one thing, but in real life, the interaction to a person is so much more. It's not lost on me that in North Carolina's international city, we are bringing the international sport. We are bringing it to life, and we are ensuring that communities from all over will be able to enjoy it, and they'll all take part. And not just those who thrive from the excellence of our furniture factories here in High Point, but those who have benefited from the prosperity of the tobacco fields of Winston-Salem, those who have thrived off the prosperity of the textile mills of Greensboro, and those who have enjoyed the pulled pork sandwiches in the barbecue of Lexington, North Carolina. This is for the whole Piedmont Triad region, and I am so excited that we get to have this. I recall, Brian, you and I, some days going back, and you just kind of said it to me as we were chatting, but we're going to have a party tonight, y'all, and that party is going to have refreshments. It's going to have, I think, a bar. It's going to have food to eat. But, Brian, there was a time where the kind of food they're going to eat tonight, we weren't eating that when we were planning this. We go back to the peanut butter cookies and the ginger ale as we were trying to figure this thing out. But it was the faithful courage that I'm always reminded about that says, regardless of how other folks feel about it, if we believe it, we can achieve it. And it takes partnership to be able to make that happen. I want to thank every single person who is here because, quite frankly, without you believing in this, without you believing in what our region can do, this is not possible. So make no mistake and never forget where you were on this day when Carolina Core FC said to you, you are the reason why we are here. And we thank you for it. And quite frankly, I love you for it. And so I want to make sure everyone here knows that. I've got a few business updates that I've got to get through. Everyone pull out your phones for me, please. Please pull out your phones. Please pull out your phones. You're going to open up Twitter and Instagram. If you don't like Elon Musk, don't open Twitter, but you're going to open up Instagram. That was a joke, y'all. Sarah, I don't know if I wasn't supposed to say that. I'm sorry, y'all. It's 2 days after elections. I don't know how to not be political. So you're going to go to Twitter and Instagram, and we want you to follow our handles. They are at @CarolinaCore_FC. I'll say it again, at @CarolinaCore_FC. You're going to follow us because that's where you're going to get all the updates about what's going on as we prepare to play our first game in spring 2024. You're going to get all the news about where you can purchase tickets. I'm also supposed to tell you that season ticket deposits are on sale now, starting as low as $25 per account. With each account, you'll be assigned a priority number, and so the sooner that you deposit, the better your priority position to get those season tickets. All of this can be found on our website, and our website, in case you want to bookmark it in your phone, is CarolinaCoreFC.com. One more time, it is CarolinaCoreFC.com. And, of course, we wouldn't be a business if we weren't selling you something. So limited edition merchandise is on sale today. You can walk in here in a suit and tie and walk out in a hoodie and a crew neck, y'all. We are selling, just outside today's press conference, we've got merchandise for Carolina Core FC. At tonight's party, we'll also have that merchandise, which will be right here in the loft. It's also online at our team score at CarolinaCoreFC.com. I feel like we've had such an eventful time here. We got through it. Sarah, I didn't mention anything about he who shall not be named or they who shall not be named, and so I feel thrilled about what my job was today. I am inspired by everyone's participation and thrilled to know that you'll be with us on this journey. High Point is not stopping, for we are North Carolina's international city, the city on the hill, the world's high point. And dear friends, eyes have not seen it, ears have not heard where we are going. Thank you so much. Be blessed.